Well, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Deb Sofield, and you're listening to my weekly podcast series called Encouragement for Your Life. Most of you know I'm a national speaker, trainer, and coach. I like to say I help people find their voice and learn to use it. I'm also a conference speaker on the topics of public speaking, presentation skills, how to deal with the media, and crisis communication. I've got a number of other presentations on my website if you'd like to check those out. If your organization has an upcoming conference and you need a keynote speaker, I hope you'll reach out at debsofield.com. I would love to be a part. I've got a number of great books on the market. My best-selling book, Speak Without Fear. My book, Perfecting Your Platform. Both of those are on Amazon and Audible if you like to listen to books. And my series, Encouragement for Your Life, which is a compilation of these podcasts, they're available on Amazon, volumes 1 through 3. Just go into Amazon, type in my name, Deb Sofield, all my books will appear. I've got a great show today, and I have to admit I'm talking to myself. I've entitled my podcast, Slow Down. Thanks for listening. I'm Deb Sofield. Stay tuned. I'll be right back after the break. I know, what an odd title, Slow Down. And I should probably slow down myself, but I want to share some funny things that I saw this week that I think will help make your week a little better. I went to visit some older friends, and I went to the refrigerator to get some iced tea for everybody, and then I noticed it. The laundry soap was sitting right next to the orange juice in the refrigerator. Now listen, it can happen to any of us, I'm sure. We're so busy with life that sometimes we mindlessly put things where they don't belong. I was telling the story at the gym, and everybody at the gym piped up and said that due to exhaustion, life, or the stupor of the weekend, they had put socks, oil cans, shampoo, and other things in the refrigerator. And then they'd have to search high and low the next day to find out where they put it. It's not a big deal looking for an item when you need it unless you've placed it in such a strange place like the refrigerator, because you most likely won't find it for days. So in our time together, I just want to give a simple reminder that in your hustle and hurry to be successful and famous, some of you just need to slow down, rest a while. Granted, that's not an easy thing to do unless you are forced to rest due to illness or sheer exhaustion. I read an article the other day that said the measure of your personal wealth in today's world is how much time you can devote to sleeping. Isn't that interesting? You can devote the hours you need to sleep versus having to work all the time. So my thought for this week is simple, like most of them are. I want to remind you to care for yourself so you'll have the strength and energy and alertness to carry on for others as you go forth and do big things. All right, I admit I have a strange sense of humor. I just thought it was hysterical because you don't think about the orange juice container being orange in the soap, which I think was Tide, and it also comes in an orange container. I will say the soap was nice and chilly when I took it out and put it back in the laundry room for them. Yeah, I just had to laugh. Let me take another minute and talk about the importance of slowing down. If you're an athlete, you know that rest days are crucial for muscle repair, preventing injuries, and improving overall performance, allowing your body to recover and rebuild stronger. Those of you listening who are into serious workouts, that would not be Deb, you know that you create microscopic tears in your muscle tissue, and rest days are essential for these tissues to repair and rebuild, leading to a stronger, more resilient muscle. Rest is not only about physical recovery, but I think it's also important for mental health. Sufficient rest can help reduce stress, improve mood, and enhance overall well-being. I can only assume that those of you listening often push yourself to the brink as you're pursuing success. But friend, be mindful that if you push yourself too hard due to your strong need to achieve or fear of failure, or belief that hard work equates to significance, just know that your push for success can lead to serious burnout and have negative health outcomes. And listen, nothing is worth losing your health over. I'm sure you've heard the statistics that about 90% of full-time employees have access to paid time off, but according to the final numbers, almost 50% of workers do not use all their PTO during the year. And 68% of employees work while on vacation. while the other 52 worry about work during vacation. Doesn't sound like a very restful vacation to me. Listen, I get it that sometimes you just can't take time off, but for those who can and choose not to show you can power through because you're rough and tough, all I'm saying is, friend, give it a try. You'll come back better than ever if you slow down and take care of yourself. I came across a really good article in Psych Central magazine, and the headline was, "Why You Can't Slow Down." And I'm going to paraphrase this to keep it short and to the point. The first sentence is that you know exactly what you need to do to slow down. You just need to sit on the couch and catch a breather. You need to say no to additional assignments and commitments. You need to go water skiing, go to the beach, go to the lake, go fishing. Just take a few days off. But your brain says you can't. In fact, you'll probably ramp up your workload and hustle even harder, pack your schedule even tighter. And when you do stop for a bit, if you actually can, you probably wonder to yourself, why can't I slow down? And why is rest so hard for me? Well, for starters, slowing down is getting harder and harder in our culture because our society worships busyness. It's become a medal of honor. Rest and relaxation are seen as rewards, which only come after we've worked hard enough. We should be honest and admit, for many of us, keeping busy is a source of pride, a kind of I can do it all mentality. Yeah, until you burn out. In another article I found entitled, "This is Why You Can't Slow Down," some of the highlights of the article are this. You have work week mentality. Most of us are conditioned to work between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m., Monday through Friday. And while that is the norm, there's an overwhelming science that this is not a healthy life rhythm, and that we need regular breaks, and that the optimal work week is 35 hours. Now listen, I know for many that's not an option. You've got to work the hours you're given, but for those of you who can, all I'm asking is that maybe you try. Just try for a month, and let's see if it changes your outlook. Another point is, I believe a lot of us equate our work with our worth. The author goes on to say that his coach likes to say about work and self-worth, if you've linked the two together, friend, they don't belong together. When we tie our self-worth to our productivity, we set ourselves up for constant failure because we will always want more than we have. It will always fall short of our goal. I have to admit, I love the next point, and that is this weird childhood programming most of us have. Mike, the author of the article, says when he was 10, his family moved overseas for his dad's job. He says, I remember standing at my grandmother's front door the day before we'd left and her telling me something like, "You're the oldest. You're the man of the house now. You need to take care of your mom." Now, that's a hard thing to tell a child, but still he became hyper vigilant about anything that needed to be attended to, and then he took responsibility for everyone all the time. He goes on to say, I am still unlearning this habit. The last point from the article I want to share is what the author calls the entrepreneur trap. He says, I've noticed that entrepreneurs more than any other group struggle with slowing down because we believe our business stops working when we do. As long as you continue to be a business operator, someone who wears all the hats, then you will continue to be stretched to the limit and feel the need to answer every email during your daughter's soccer practice. Instead, work to become a business owner by delegating as much as possible to a competent team. Again, this is my paraphrasing of a very good article, and all I'm asking is that you consider doing what's best for you and your family for the long term. If we're to build a healthy, sane world, we need healthy, sane people who understand that rest is productive. Or better yet, that productivity is not the purpose of existence. We need to remember that we're human beings, not human doings. All right, I just thought it was a good article. I wanted to share it with you. I think it's important that we slow down when we can. And sometimes we've got to make time to do the right thing. Friend, I just want to remind you, you are fearfully and wonderfully made, and God has a plan for your life, but you have to be well enough and have the energy to step into the light to do what you're called to do. So for some of us, I think it would be wise if we would just slow down. All right. You've been listening to Deb Sofield's encouragement for your rockstar amazing life. And friend, I know that sometimes these messages are common sense, but common sense isn't common anymore. And because I want you to have a better day, I just want to remind you of a few life lessons that, due to work and responsibilities, you might have set aside. And just remember, Deb doesn't care what the world says about you. I want you to know I care about you. And I want you to be able to do big things because you will be healthy enough for the long term. And I think that's important. And here's my promise. I'm going to walk alongside you as we follow your dream for success together, because now you have the energy, the strength, the fortitude to go the distance. Thanks for joining me. I hope you'll join me next week for Deb Sofield's encouragement for your life. Have a good one, everybody.